In today's video, I want to talk about why I'm actually pretty worried for LEGO Star Wars come 2025. Let's talk about it. So welcome back everyone to another LEGO Star Wars video, and today I have a quick little discussion I want to have with you guys about going into 2025 LEGO Star Wars and why I'm kind of worried about it. So I think we all know Star Wars Celebration happened about 2 weekends ago. We had some stuff, like some trailers, Ahsoka, we had some, Bad Batch announcements, we had new movies announcements, and that's kind of where this leads into. So of course we have 3 new movies that are, pretty much, confirmed to come out. Again, like I'll believe it when I see it. There's been like 25 movies they've talked about over the past 5 years, and none of them have happened. But the first one being in 2025, a REY SKYWALKER sequel movie. Basically a sequel to the sequels. Set 15 years after the trilogy that came out 2015 through 2019. And this is where this discussion kind of leads into. So, of course, 2025, when we think of, LEGO Star Wars and just kind of Star Wars in general, I think a lot of us, especially kind of the prequel people, people maybe my demographic, we think about 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith right away. And it's been something that we've been talking about, I feel like, heavily over the past year or two about, what is LEGO Star Wars going to actually do for 2025 involving Episode 3. And so first off, this is kind of a video involving that, kind of why I'm worried about it now, and a couple things on how I think LEGO can at least make it perfect, even if they still have to cater to other stuff. So I think we all know, of course, the REY movie's coming out 2025 December, that's the rumored release date. Usually they like to, stick to that December release date, and they were originally supposed to have a movie out in 2023, since they were going to do every other December for the next like 7 or 8 years or whatever. They were going to split it between the Avatar franchise and Star Wars. So 2025 December comes, just like the rest of the sequel trilogy movies. So at that point then, LEGO, of course, would have LEGO Star Wars sets out. And this is what I kind of I totally forgot about this and didn't even really put 2 and 2 together until last night on Nerd Theory. They were talking about, 2025, REY movie, and I'm like thinking to myself, what else is in 2025 involving LEGO Star Wars? And I'm like, oh yeah, what we're all excited about, Episode 3. So of course, in turn, LEGO will make some Star Wars sets involving, that movie. How many? We're not too sure, of course. We don't even know anything for 2024 yet, let alone 2025. But say they, stick it to the other movies, they make 4, 5, 6, or 7 of them. Presumably they're going to have a Force Friday that year. At least I hope they do. I'm a big fan of Force Fridays. So I have a feeling, look, that's going to take place in September or October of that year, and pretty much eat up that, kind of September 1st wave that we got this year, and presumably next year too. They're probably going to take, half of that summer wave, dedicate it towards the new movie and give it to us on Force Friday, or give it to us on kind of a separate release date. So right there, can sadly take up, 3, 4, 5, or 6 or 7 sets or whatever it is, just for that new movie out of, say that catalog of 20 to 30 sets they were going to produce that year. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say we know nothing about the movies. I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad movie or anything, or, the sets are going to be bad, but this really kind of goes into the point of why I'm kind of worried about 2025 anniversary for Revenge of the Sith. So, we even know, for 2022, even 20th anniversary of Episode 2, they basically did nothing. I mean, they gave us Kenobi Starfighter, they gave us a technical accessory pack, but I think bottom line of it, for a 20th anniversary, if they were to do anything for Episode 2, they should have given us the Jango Fett Slave one. I think that was like the biggest give me, literally, even if they made it the same size as the $50 one. Super tiny, $49.99, Jango Fett Slave one, do a recolor of the Boba Fett one on the shelves. And honestly, I think at the end of the day, a lot of us would have been happy. I think that's just the dream set that we want remade, and 2022 was that year for it. So we can already tell LEGO might not be caring about 2025 as is. Hopefully they understand that 2025, the Revenge of the Sith is a bigger movie than Episode 2. They've seemed to kind of cater more towards it in the past. 2014, we had 10 sets involving it. Of course, 05, 07, we had some pretty good Episode 3 sets. So with all that being said, I think, look, I want to kind of take the rest of this video and kind of just go over the most important sets I feel like for 2025. And these are the ones where I feel like, look, if LEGO were to give us anything, maybe not dedicate an entire wave, not make too big of a deal out of it, even if they don't necessarily brand them 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, at least if they were to just put these out like how they did in 2022 with a couple things. Here's my top 5, I think, so I think if they were to, pick amongst, 2 or 3 or 4 of these, I think that'd be pretty perfect. So I think a $20 Phase 2 battle pack we need to have in 2025 winter. You know, there's a couple options they can do. Really, at that point, any Phase 2 clones I'd be happy with. But I think, you know, for nostalgia purposes, I think a 2007 Battle Pack remake would be perfect. Give us 2 Phase 2 clones, you know, plain white. Give us a Shock Trooper, you know, let us army build that clone that comes in the gunship this year. And then give us, you know, a 327th Star Corps clone too. That could maybe be a little bit of a tease for something that comes out in 2025. Maybe it was a 2024 clone, but I think that'd be perfect. Or also another battle pack I've always kind of liked, you know, involving episode 3 would be like a Kashyyyk battle pack where we have like 2 Kashyyyk scouts, 1 442nd, then 1 Wookiee warrior. I think that'd just be perfect for, you know, episode 3 vibes. Next up, guys, I think a Mustafar diorama. This is probably the most important set out of every single set I'll be talking about. This just needs to happen, in my opinion. I think they need to go the diorama style. We don't need a playset for this. I think this would be perfect for, ideally in a perfect world, maybe a $60 set, you know, $59.99. We only need 2 minifigures in it. So, you know, 2 minifigures, you know, just a nice little, you know, square. You know, make it, what, maybe 24 studs by 24 studs. You know, something kind of small. You know, give us some lava, give us the, you know, the high ground area. You know, maybe give us the little droid, the mining droid that Anakin's on. But at that point, you know, I think for $60, a Mustafar diorama, we just need it desperately. I think that's just the #1 needed stuff for 2025. A couple other things I think that could be nice would be like a $35 V-Wing in the same size as the Snub Fighter from this year. You know, say they are going up to that $35 price point for those kind of, you know, smaller-esque, you know, ships now with, you know, 2 minifigures. You know, give us a V-Wing pilot, an astromech, and they'll pretty much call it a day at that point. And then another one right here, I think a Palpatine's Arrest remake, but we need it in the playset version, not diorama. You know, look, if they made a diorama version of it, would I be mad? Not necessarily, but I really do think the Palpatine's Arrest, you know, just kind of battle, or, you know, the duel scene, really fits best in a, you know, $100, $120 playset, you know, version, where they can actually include, you know, all 5 or 6, it's what? There's 6 minifigures, you know, 6 minifigures, you know, give us another 1,000-piece build, you know, give us Anakin's, you know, little starfighter thing, and really kind of flesh it out more, and not just give us that window, you know, with Anakin, Mace Windu, and Palpatine. Although, again, if they did that, would I be necessarily disappointed? Not really, but I do think a playset version would probably do that set better. Next up, guys, I think a $100 UTAT. I think we finally need one of those. Or if they're truthfully just scared of making UTATs, they don't want to make Galactic Marines, you know, something to do with, you know, Order 66, or, you know, Galactic Marines are too, you know, controversial or whatever Lego wants to, you know, think about those. I think if they were not to do a $100 UTAT, I think a $100 ARC 170. I think, you know, Lego clearly likes ARC 170s for episode 3. I think it makes perfect sense. It is a pretty memorable ship from that movie. Then lastly, I think another big one they could do that year, and honestly, if they were to just give us this, a battle pack in the Mustafar diorama would be perfect as a May 4th, you know, UCS, you know, $240 Anakin's Yellow Interceptor. So look, overall, I think come 2025, I'm getting more worried that I don't think we'll be getting like a massive episode 3 wave. You know, I don't think anyone really planned for that to begin with, but I think bottom line of it, we all hope that Lego just kind of knows, you know, those sets would do really well. I mean, a lot of stuff in the past for them regarding episode 3 have been some of the highlight sets for a lot of people. So I think, you know, making updated sets, making newer sets, it is giving me a little bit of faith, you know, if we're seeing more clone troopers these days. You know, the fact of the matter that they would give us something to do with clone troopers. You know, Phase 2 clones, when you think of them, most people think of episode 3 right away. You know, of course, they were in the Clone Wars for a little bit, but, you know, when you think of just a Phase 2 clone, Revenge of the Sith just comes to your mind, at least for me, and I know a lot of other people. So I think, nonetheless, knowing about this new movie is scaring me a little bit. Not to say the movie's going to be bad. I'm not like a 2-year in advance hater or anything, but the fact that it is something that, you know, Lego will, of course, dedicate a lot of effort to, a lot of time to. Hopefully it can be something where, you know, maybe the first half of the year, you know, January and May, maybe they can get a little bit more episode 3 related stuff, and then come the, you know, the back half of the year, you know, give us some of the sequel era stuff. At least the one positive thing is that sequel movie is not meant to be a trilogy. So the other 2 movies coming out, you know, Dave Filoni's movie, you know, kind of the Heir to the Empire movie, and also the other movie that's set in the High Republic. Both those, you know, at least, you know, look, again, I don't know anything about the movies. All 3 of them could be terrible, but at least those other 2 movies, when they do make Lego sets for them, you know, on paper, hopefully they're better than the sequel movie sets. So nonetheless, guys, leave your thoughts down below. This is something that kind of came to my mind again last night. I just want to talk about this and kind of start discussion. Is quite frankly, look, I'm a little bit more worried now. I think going into 2025, yeah, I think it all kind of maybe depends on what they do next year too. Presumably 2024 will be a lot of, you know, kind of Mando season 3, Ahsoka show, kind of, you know, filling in the gaps, and of course a couple other, you know, more random things I feel. But I think, you know, going into 2025, you know, this might kind of put a little bit of a damper on it until we start hearing some rumors and stuff. But nonetheless though, guys, leave your thoughts down below. What do you guys think, you know, a sequel era movie in 2025 will do for LEGO Star Wars that year? Will it ruin it? Will it kind of keep it the same? Or do you think it will make it better somehow? I'd love to hear it down below, guys. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye guys, and stay safe.